Now the big question is, how will countries react to Trump tariffs? I mean, one question to come back at the very, very beginning when we talked about the anti-espionage law.
George W. So how can anybody be upset?
I think what the Chinese are obviously trying to do is, by being more transparent, making it perhaps trying to make China more attractive as a location to do business with, because of course there have been trends in the EU and other countries to try and move away from China, to be less dependent on it. And this might be a way of trying to attract more companies into China. I think there it's probably just a question of, is this enough? And I would say no. Just making it a bit more transparent is not going to change the fact that there is this law and that it's being detrimental, it's being perceived as being detrimental to business operations if it's fairly easy to arrest or interrogate business executives. And I mean, there are a lot of other issues that deter companies from investing in China, and these have to be addressed first before one could really say that, yeah, now let's talk about this one particular law and be a bit more transparent, and this will make China more attractive to companies. So I don't think this will have a big effect. It's a step in the right direction, but I don't think it's a really big step that will make a big difference. In contrast to the US, who has a very, very clear view on China being the enemy, so to speak, the EU doesn't have that. I think the EU recognizes that China is a competitor, not just economically, but also politically. But they also recognize the value of cooperation and exchange of goods and services and capital and so on, and knowledge in particular. EU claims, and I think quite rightly claims, that, look, market access of Chinese companies in the EU is relatively easy, certainly easier and with less restrictions than EU access to the Chinese market. So if there are any steps that can address that imbalance, then I think one would go more into the sphere of seeing China again as a cooperating partner rather than a competitor.